This is Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcome in the studio. We got a first-timer representing C3 Consulting, Mr. Chrystopher Terry. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing, KG?
I'm doing well, man. So let us know about your consulting company. What is C3 Consulting?
So C3 Consulting is a company built on the desire and craving of helping people achieve their dreams. So we basically created a portfolio of services that are essential to helping people achieve those dreams. So we offer business services, consumer services, coaching, and training. Specifically under consumer services, we offer credit repair, credit building, and coaching and training. Nice.
Okay. And so how did you come up with this with C3 Consulting? What was the catalyst for you to start this business?
So actually, KG, I've been helping people with credit since I can remember in school. I went to Morehouse College, and people referred to me as the male version of Olivia Pope. So I'm just kind of like a problem-solving guy. And so my friends would just call me, hey, I need to get this off my credit. I'm trying to get this. How do I do it? And so I was doing it pro bono for the longest. And then in 2013, I basically went and got a DBA under my name. And so I operated just under Chrystopher Terry for the longest. And then last year, I finally LLC'd. So C3 Consulting is actually its own entity now. So that's kind of how we started.
Oh, that's dope. So since you're into finances and financial literacy and education and all of that too, for you, where do you feel that the responsibility for financial literacy lies? Is it in the home or is it at school?
So, of course, I think it's both. So basically, I believe that financial literacy should be taught in steps. Okay. Starting with the foundation in middle school and then tiered from middle school, high school to college. So in middle school, I believe that they should teach how to balance a checkbook, which they do, how to save money, what are taxes, and some of the tax codes, how to open up a bank account, what are savings accounts and how do they work, steps today that kids can take to begin developing their accounts. Then when they transition to high school, and I would say maybe about sophomore year, junior year, they should teach what is credit, how does credit work, what is the scoring model, and how to develop credit, the risk of credit, and financial traps. Mm-hmm. Then when we transition over to college, then we should start opening up those credit cards, and we should start opening up and taking out those lines of credit responsibly to teach students how to use these different accounts and how they can benefit them. Because credit is a tool. Right. Credit is access. And so if we can teach them how to properly use it, it can work in our benefit instead of working against us.
Chrystopher, I have never heard it broken down that tight and specific. And I like the way you think, my G. I like the way you think. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Chrystopher Terry from C3 Consulting. So now you are actually doing something to help out the victims of Hurricane Harvey. What is the initiative that you've started with helping people with Hurricane Harvey relief?
So basically, our contribution to this great city is free credit repair for all of those adversely affected by Hurricane Harvey in a measurable way. So in addition to that, we are also offering 50% off of all of our services to anybody with a Texas state ID or a Florida state ID. And that also comes with a free goal under our goal attainment service. And our goal with this is not just to help people recover, it's actually to help people come back greater than they were before the storm. Mm-hmm. And I think that we can achieve that through this. Mm-hmm. And
that's great, man. Because I guess a lot of people don't think about things. I mean, they're so busy in their, sort of depressed mode, if you will. This has happened to them. Some have lost a lot of things, some have lost everything. Exactly. And so they're still in that sort of, I guess, state of shock, like, and then once they get out of it, it's like, well, what do I do next? How am I going to bounce back? What does this do to my credit? Because I mean, let's see, things don't stop. You know what I mean? There's still things in your name. There's still, I guess, companies still expect you to make, payments on, whatever it may be, your cell phone bill, your electric bill, gas bill, insurance and whatnot.
And well, actually, what I do and what I have appreciated about companies is company, and I'm just gonna name a few, and it's not all inclusive, but sure. Capital One, Santander, and Wells Fargo, they have actually offered payment, I guess you could say payment extensions for people affected by Hurricane Harvey. But that's still not enough. We are still recovering from the greatest storm that has come through Houston. And when we're talking about that, there's so many things left out that we don't address. We're concerned with toiletries, housing, and that's great. But I remember you were talking to, I believe, Bread of Life last week or the week before, and you guys mentioned wheelchairs. Yeah. People don't think about wheelchairs when they're talking about recovery. Yeah. So there's so many things that we leave out when we're talking about recovery. And I just think about Tom, who owns a home, but Tom may not be able to afford the repairs on his home and may not be credit worthy in order to obtain financing. So that's where we step in. So we can help, because even FEMA is doing credit checks. And the SBA for the business loans and for recovery repair loans, they're doing credit checks on that stuff. That's stuff they don't tell you. Now, they'll tell you that when you go to apply, but, the FEMA representative is not. It's not going to tell you that up front. Exactly. That is very interesting. Didn't know that one. You're listening to Access Houston, talking to Chrystopher Terry from CIII Consulting. In this situation, like, what tips could you give someone that's going through something with Hurricane Harvey when it comes to, their finances, or making sure that, things are still straight? Is there, like, do you have some sort of just like an emergency go-to plan, like things that should be in order, or things that you should do in the wake of a natural disaster? Definitely. So always keep your credit line open. Your credit line, unless the bank shut down. Now, there have been instances in history where the banks have shut down and we have not had access to our money. But traditionally, regularly, under disaster circumstances, keep your credit line open, because your credit line is going to enable you to move your family if you need to. It's going to enable you to do repairs, purchase food. I saw in Florida that they surged the gas prices when the storm was on the way. So, you may not have that money or that cash on hand to purchase the things you need, but that's what credit enables you to do. So my first tip would be keep your credit line open. Make sure that you have available credit. Make sure that you keep your credit score good so you can apply for credit or apply for a loan just in case you need it. Secondly, keep cash on hand. Keep at least $500 in your home. Keep it in a safe, of course. Keep it away from prying eyes. And, of course, if you ever get robbed or something like that, you will lose that. But normal circumstances, you don't have to worry about that. So keep cash on hand just in case there's ever a time where you lose access to your financial institution. Keep cash on hand. Okay. And then my, I guess, last tip would probably be to already have the things you need before the disaster hits. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. So. Indeed. Oh, those are some good things. Chrystopher Terry from CIII Consulting, doing something great for you, Harvey survivors. Where can they get more information and use your services? Okay, so you can go to CIIIconsulting.com. That's CIII Consulting, CONSULTING.com. And for this initiative, they can go /Harvey. We can be found all over social media at CIII Consulting, CIII Consulting, all over social media, or they can reach us by phone at 281-606-5079. Nice. Chrystopher Terry
from C3 Consulting. This is your business? Are you the?
Yes, sir.
You are the founder and the CEO.
Yes,
and
sir.
Okay, so he. This is all him. All him for real.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope.
But I actually want to go back just briefly on the thing, because you ask all your audience, even not only on Access Houston, but on Quiet Storm as well sometimes, about this burden of financial education.
Yeah.
And over, 2 or 3 times that I heard you ask the question, I'm just thinking to myself, the school system has become a place where we measure against the state standard or the national standard. That's what everything is measured by. And since when did we become a nation or a people where we just measure ourselves against the average? Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't.
When you look go pull out any school's report, it'll say, literacy may be 50%, and then right next to it, it says state average 60. Why are we not achieving for 100%?
Right.
Why are we not achieving for greater than? Why are we measuring ourselves against the average?
Chris, I have never thought about that. You have just opened my eyes to something
Seriously.
haven't thought of and probably have seen, but it just never clicked.
Because my belief is that as high school students, and don't get me wrong, you had Legacy Sports School, Sports Science. I think they're doing a great job. I loved what she's doing. So we have some programs that are achieving that, I guess you could say, college readiness or career readiness. But overall, we are not preparing our students coming out of high school for real world scenarios. And it's my belief that we should, like, for example, I wanted to go to college. So I took college preparation courses.
Right.
And I took some courses through Lone Star and some AP courses. Okay, cool. But what about those people that want to go be truck drivers?
Yeah.
What about those people that want to do truck repairs? What about those people that want to go be EMS or...
Well, some high school, at least where I'm from in Dayton, Ohio, I lived in Trotwood, Ohio, which is like a suburb of Dayton. And it was, prominent black folks that lived there, a lot of,
Gotcha.
factory workers. And at my school, we had that option. So you could go to the high school, once you got into the 11th grade, your junior and senior year, there was like a trade school that was attached to our school. And if you wanted to learn, being automotive technicians, learn about cars or welding or in any of those things that, skill or trade courses, that was offered. You had that, had that chance. You had that opportunity to either go do that or, just go on a regular high school.
Now, a lot of them do offer it, but what's the key word? You said if you wanted to.
Right.
So these programs target people that are very serious about doing whatever it is that they're doing, whether it be welding and all of those. But what I'm saying is we need to take a holistic approach to education. For example, why don't we offer driver education in high school in Texas? Why is that not a thing? Why are we sending our students out, letting them graduate from high school without being able to drive a car? This is just simple stuff.
I didn't know that goes on. I mean, when I came up, they did offer driver's education.
I graduated from Klein Forest. No driver education program in Klein District, no driver education program in Aldine District, no driver education program in Spring.
Wow. So then that's something with the independent school districts that maybe they need to add to their
Houston. So I'm on the north side, so I just mentioned all the north side school districts. But cohesively, think about it. We're not properly preparing our students on any side. Now, the ones that are high achievers, such as I'm gonna brag a little bit myself, yes, they are there. But what I'm saying is we need to target 100%. 100% of the students need to be geared to go into something, because the ones that fall by the wayside in high school, guess what ends up happening to them? They end up going to do a full-time job, part-time job, and they basically tread and spin their wheels for the next 10 years. And then they go enroll in a career education or trade school or whatever it albeit. Or they go back to college. So why not high school? Don't let them graduate until they are geared to go into a program.
I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why, Chris. And the way that the system is set up, I mean, it seems as though they don't know or care either because everything is going backwards now.
Yeah.
It seems that, unfortunately, things are going backwards. I look at, just from a local level, things are okay. From a national level, from a federal level, it's looking pretty grim.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to go back. It takes a village. I mean, homeschooling isn't so bad. I mean, my first cousin Matthew, he was homeschooled. My uncle's wife, Carla, taught him up until junior high. I think his first time going to public school, and he didn't even go to a public school. He went to a Christian school, 8th grade, and she homeschooled him. And when he got to the 8th grade, he was so well advanced, they pushed him to be a sophomore. That's how advanced it was. So I think that we need to really take a look at homeschooling again, since the public schools aren't able to do what they're supposed to. I don't know. Hey. I don't have the answers. Who has the answers, Sway?
You ain't got the answers,
You don't have the answers, Sway.
Right. But I don't even think it's a question of ability. I think we're able. If we wanted to, I think we as a community can do anything we want to do.
Of course we can.
So it's not a question of ability. It's a question of desire. Do we desire to address 100% of the population in high school? Or are we just going to go after Amanda, who is super achieving, or these super achieving kids, and push them? You have to address 100%, KG, because when it comes down to it, state funding comes for all those students equally, right?
Well, it's supposed to.
Yeah, so not just Amanda, who's the overachiever, but also Carl, who may be sitting in the corner that's like, I don't like school, I don't want to be here. You got to address him as well,
Oh, I know about it.
Yeah, so
you got it together, man.
I try.
Yeah. So think about how we can, how some changes can be made. Right. Write up a proposal. Send it to all the independent school districts in Harris County, and.
Well, I'm glad you
take it there.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I am one of those people who doesn't like to just talk about things affecting our community. So I like to contribute solutions. So my company is actually working on an e-class for high school and middle school students that will teach financial literacy. So this is going to be a class that even parents can learn from, because as we've stated, this is a part of education that has been neglected. So that class is scheduled to be complete and ready for licensing and distribution by November.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Oh, wow.
So that is one thing we're working on. And then I have some personal things that I'm working on that I'll mention that are in the works but are not solidified yet. But I'm actually working on a Black Male Summit for the city of Houston. So, that takes connections.
Yeah.
So you got the connections, KG.
I got a few.
Yeah. I got the answer this time, right?
Okay.
So I'm actually working on that as well. Because I actually was a couple of years ago a part of a Black Male Summit in California.
Uh-huh.
And when they ran the analytics on the graduating class that went through it, there were positive outcomes from it. And so it was just 3 days. And it was from about 8 to 4. So, 8-hour full day thing, 3. But it's just all African-American males. There's no women there. And there's nobody else there. So it's basically uncandid conversation between people that look like us.
Well, you're going to have to come back on the program to let us know when all of these things are going down.
Definitely.
Chrystopher Terry, CEO and founder of CIII Consulting, my man. Give them the information one more time to follow up and for your services.
Definitely. So it's CIIIconsulting.com, CIII Consulting.com. for the initiative /Harvey, and I can be reached via phone at 281-606-5079, and I also can be reached by email at CHRYS at C3Consulting.com.
Chrystopher Terry from C3Consulting.com. Man, thanks for coming through. This was some engaging conversation. I didn't expect us to go there, but I'm glad we did.
Definitely. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you taking me.
Indeed. And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
We'll be back with more Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.